On Saturday, September 13th, In at the Side travelled to Oxfordshire for the Rugby Centenary celebrations at Radley College. A day of celebration, but also a chance to reflect on the sacrifices many young men, including those at Radley, made during the Great War 1914 to 1918. Until 1914, association football was the main sport at Radley, but when Reverend Edward Selwyn became warden at the school in 1913, a notice appeared on the board which tersely delivered the message that rugger will be played next season. A message that was met with opposition, as Claire Sargent, archivist at Radley, explained.
Yeah. So he goes down in history as the most hated person, the most hated headmaster got, and the most hated notice that ever went up. We're going to play rugby. And in fact, it actually immediately does raise the standard of the school, because they start to get rugby being played on a really organised way. So you've got teaching staff who are coaching it, who are really good coaches, yeah. And you've got boys. So you've got here, this is a socials that involve boarding houses, and this is 1915, so they're starting to play inter-house rugby, organised as well. So you've got to train them up from the very beginning, from the very youngest boys, and that's what they're starting to do. But then, of course, you've got to find other schools to play. So back in 1913, they were playing very scratch teams from Oxford, because it's very close. They can come over, bring an undergraduate team. We're losing horrendously every time we play because we don't know how to play. Yeah. So we set up a first fixture against another school, and that's what we're celebrating today. Is that in part that first fixture, but in part also the fact that 1914, that's the date we started. And unfortunately, our very first fixture was against Sherborne. And you can see this is Sherborne's fixture list for 1914. And the Radley matches crossed through because Sherborne became really, really ill in October 1914. They couldn't play a match. So they cancelled in December. So they came back the next year. And they totally, totally creamed us. So you've got this nice thing. The Radleyan magazine for December 1915 is saying, Radley were beaten by superior experience and instinct of a pack which filled in deficiencies and always knew where the ball was, which is not like us. Whereas Sherborne is saying, they're comparatively new, it's not surprising. We beat them 46-0, which today would be 70-0. Yeah. So that's what we're celebrating. So that's where we're going.
Customising to the rules of a new sport was one challenge, but a greater challenge occupied the minds of those involved in growing the sport at Radley at the time. The challenge posed to the Allies by Germany and the Central Powers in Western Europe, as both players and coaches rushed to enlist.
It really was this question of choice for a lot of them, but then others gradually, as the war developed, they do start to go, and they're going for all sorts of interesting things in some ways. So two of them, this guy James Freeman, who was killed in a flying accident in Flanders, and this one Tom Langford Sainsbury, he went into the Royal Flying Corps in 1916, and this one went actually into the RAF and became an Air Vice Marshal. So we're going into the new forces as well. But what you're seeing is not just that they're being called up, is that you could say that you've got a team of 17 and you've got 3 coaches, and of those 7 of the players and 2 of the coaches were killed during World War I, and that's quite a significant death rate.
After a fascinating history lesson and a tour of some of the school's iconic buildings, it was time for the big event as Radley's first team took on Sherborne in front of a packed first 15 pitch. This early try for Radley from centre Edward Christie only added to the noise being made for the home side. But a piece of quick thinking from Sherborne scrum half Bailey set up this wonderful flowing move, which allowed wing Tom Lewis to show his pace to finish in the corner. With the scores level, Sherborne fly half Fergus Onslow Hughes gave the visitors the lead with this dart under the posts. handing them a 12-7 half-time advantage. Radley enjoyed plenty of possession in the second half, but wave after wave of attack was scuppered by some strong Sherborne defence. Not even the red-clad, vociferous Radley support could urge the home side over the line. Sherborne then gave themselves some breathing space with this try from James Fenwick off the back of a well-manufactured line-up move. With time running out, Sherborne struck the jugular blow with this wonderful move from inside their own 22 that saw centre Fergus Hamilton carve open the Radley defence to allow replacement James Dickens to score, much to the delight of the Sherborne support. So defeat then for Radley, but the day was about more than just the first 15 result, as head of rugby Richard Greed and captain Harry Ryan explained. Not the result that you would have wanted today, but still a good day nonetheless.
Oh yeah, it's been absolutely outstanding. I think it's not too much about the result. I mean, obviously I'm disappointed, but it's more about the history of the game. You know, the centenary season, 1914. It's all about remembrance of those guys who died in the First World War. So you know, obviously I'm disappointed, but there's a higher kind of cause for today.
I mean, it wasn't just about the first 15 today. I must say congratulations to Sherborne. It was certainly a little bit bigger, a little bit quicker, a little bit more nous than we had, but not to take anything away from the Radley side. We were very, very competitive. But the best side came out as top winner, but I'm very proud of how we played and performed. But as I say, it was not just about the Radley first 15. You know, we've had 20 games of rugby here. It was all about creating a festival of rugby to celebrate a centenary in this year of 1914, of course, when we first played rugby. And Sherborne were the first school that we were scheduled to play against. So it's not just a celebration of 100 years of rugby, of Radley rugby, but also of a relationship between Radley and Sherborne. I must say, I'm fairly tired at the moment, and emotionally I've watched a lot of rugby, and I've seen a lot of outstanding competitive rugby. I think what was good for us today, I felt was, as a school, was the fact that we had the little boys supporting the big boys, and the senior boys getting around to come and watch some of the junior matches, and that's, you know, that was the objective of the day, and I think it's been a very exciting day for everybody.
Harry, how have you enjoyed playing rugby at Radley? What sort of a role has it played for you in your time at Radley?
Oh, it's been outstanding. I mean, for the first term every year, it's been my whole life apart from work. You know, every day out here training, and then the matches have just been outstanding. I mean, we've got such a great bunch of guys in my year, so it's been phenomenal. It's been really, really good.